We are live from the Shanghai International Circuit. You know, conditions are just perfect, and the stage is set for what is probably the most intense hour in all of motorsport, Formula One qualifying. But you know what? This session, it's a little different. We're about to witness some real history being made. Let's break it all down. So, how is a Formula One record made? Well, it's about a driver, a car, and one single perfect lap, all coming together at the exact right moment. Today, we're going to dissect a qualifying session where a record that stood for years was just completely shattered, and we'll show you exactly how it all went down. Okay, first things first. Before we can get to all the drama, we really have to understand the rules of the game here. Formula One qualifying, it's this brutal, high-pressure format that's literally designed to find the absolute limit of both man and machine. You see, it's broken down into three parts. Q1 kicks off with all 20 cars on track, but the slowest 5, they're out. Then in Q2, we take the remaining 15 and do it all over again, knocking out 5 more. And that leaves us with the final top 10 shootout, Q3, where the one fastest lap, that single lap, takes the legendary pole position. It is just a relentless process of elimination. And this season, the context is absolutely key. I mean, any preseason predictions have been totally thrown out the window. Alpine, who had the 10th fastest car last year, has just surged up the grid. And at the same time, giants like Aston Martin have fallen back, with even the brand new Cadillac team finding themselves ahead of them. The order is completely unpredictable, and that right there sets the stage for pure chaos. So, now we enter the gauntlet, those first 2 stages of qualifying. And look, this isn't just about being fast. This is about surviving. Because in Q1 and Q2, one tiny mistake, one little moment of bad luck, and your whole weekend can be over before it's even really started.
And here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Gabriel Bortoleto, who was a frontrunner just last week, he's pushing right to the ragged edge. He carries just a little too much speed into that final corner, turn 16. The back of the car snaps, he runs wide, and that single mistake, boom, it triggers a yellow flag. And for every single driver behind him on track, that yellow flag means their final, all-important lap is now completely worthless.
And what this all boils down to are the margins, which are just impossibly small. After all that chaos, a driver like Franco Colapinto misses out on getting into that final shootout by just 0.005 of a second. You could blink 20 times and miss it. That is the difference between fighting for pole and watching the rest of the session from your garage. And here they are, the consequences. 6 drivers knocked out in Q2. You've got guys like Liam Lawson and Arvid Lindblad, who were just victims of that yellow flag. And then there's Bortoleto himself, who couldn't recover from his own mistake. A whole group of world-class drivers whose hopes are just dashed, leaving only 10 left to fight for that top spot. So this brings us to the main event, Q3, the top 10 shootout. And the story here really boils down to 2 drivers, a veteran team leader and a young rookie, who are both facing completely different battles as that clock starts ticking on the most important laps of the entire day. And right away, I mean immediately, there is drama. Just as the final session is getting underway, George Russell gets on the radio with this message, a massive engine brake. Now, this isn't some minor glitch. It's a critical software problem. His team has just a few minutes, literally, to do a frantic fix in the garage. His whole session is right on the brink of disaster. So this just sets up our showdown perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you have Kimi Antonelli. He's only 19 years old, in his 2nd season, and he's having this totally clean, emotionally focused session. And then on the other side, you've got the veteran, George Russell, who now has to overcome a major technical problem and all the insane pressure that comes with it. With the stakes this high, you just knew it was all going to come down to the final sector of the final lap. A sequence of corners so demanding, they call it the Kingmaker sector. This is where 100th of a second can feel like an absolute eternity. So let's break this down. This final part of the lap, from turn 12 all the way to 16, it is a brutal test of precision. You've got this long, sweeping right-hander that just loads up the tires, and then it's immediately followed by a massive braking zone for a super tight hairpin. If you get that sequence wrong, you've completely ruined your exit onto the straight. You have to be absolutely 100% perfect. And on the final runs, we can see exactly where it was won and lost. Through turns 12 and 13, Russell, who's pushing like crazy to recover lost time, he gets on the power just a fraction too early and runs wide. It's such a tiny slip, but it costs him that critical momentum. And meanwhile, Antonelli, he is flawless through that final sequence, absolutely nailing turn 16, the very same corner that caught Bortoledo out earlier. The checkered flag is out, the final laps are in the books. For George Russell, it's all about the comeback. For Kimi Antonelli, it's a question of history. So let's see the verdict from those timing screens.
And there it is. Kimi Antonelli secures an emotional, record-breaking pole position. But look at George Russell. Despite those severe engine issues, he somehow manages to climb all the way back to the front row in second place. An absolutely incredible recovery, but just not quite enough to beat the rookie today.
But here's the real headline. At just 19 years old, Kimi Antonelli hasn't just won pole position. He has completely rewritten the record books, taking the crown from the legendary Sebastian Vettel to become the youngest driver ever to secure pole for a Formula One Grand Prix. We've just witnessed a generational shift.
And that right there is the sound of history being made. The pure, unfiltered emotion from inside the cockpit. It's the culmination of years and years of work, all realized in one single, perfect lap. So, a new benchmark has been set. It took a flawless performance under immense pressure, a little bit of chaos, and a rival's tiny fractional error. It really makes you wonder, as the sport just keeps evolving, what combination of skill, luck, and just sheer nerve is it going to take for the next driver to come along and make their mark?